Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to have a little look at this lad, this new Primaris Lieutenant in Phobos Armour. Phobos? However you want to pronounce it, is fine with me. I'm sure I'll get it wrong no matter what I try. The armour that isn't the normal armour. Let's say it that way, because that's actually less convenient, but there's less chance of messing it up. To be honest, I actually really like this one. I've been getting a bit bored of Primaris Lieutenants. Which I think is fair. I think that's a fair thing to kind of get bored of, because there is a... We talked about this on Adeptus Podcasters like a couple of months ago. There is a thing whereby, when it comes to Primaris Lieutenants, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much gear you can give them. Things that Space Marines have, and especially things that Primaris have, Games Workshop is intentionally limited. It's supposed to be like that. There is a distinct loadout that Primaris Marines have depending on their role, and really the only ones that get to buck that trend are big named characters, hence why Primaris Calgar can run around with special armour and the Gauntlets of Ultramar. Like, he gets to do that because he's Primaris Calgar. A random lieutenant can't just take any old gear, because you would look at it and go, why the hell is he allowed to have this fancy stuff and no one else can? What is that about? As such, the lieutenants have felt a little bit samey. Some of the poses have been cool, but they have all been... well, they've been just a Primaris Lieutenant. This guy, actually, despite just being another Primaris Lieutenant, to me looks actually a lot more unique than all the others. I mean, obviously the difference in armour does help a lot, but he has a very good action pose going on. It's not a posing pose. It's not one of those ones where it's like, excuse me, sir, could you stand there and look heroic whilst we take a pict? That's not happened with this. This is an in-action, seemingly about to stab someone in the face. It's a proper, like, in combat look to it, which I much prefer. Prefer that so much to the kind of the standard thing of just, okay, we're going to make them look like they're fancy. I much prefer this kind of look for this kind of thing. It actually does work really well. I mean, there is also, of course, some other stuff in the background of this picture, which I really wish we could see a bit more clearly, but it's intentionally very zoomed out. I'd imagine if they hadn't managed to get the precise level of zoom via, messing with the focal length on the camera, they would probably have gone into Photoshop and messed with it as well, just to make it extra difficult to really make stuff out. I mean, in fairness, we can see on the right there, that looks like it is Eliminators and some sort of... I'm assuming that's some sort of librarian going on there. That would make the most sense to me. If it's another one in the armour that isn't the normal armour, I'm not saying it, I'm not using the word, because I'll just mess it up every time, then it will be most likely a different one that we've seen, than we've seen from the Shadowspear box. And I'm guessing the ones off to the left, I always forget what they're called. I always think they're called infiltrators, but I could be wrong. Although that also could be completely right, and that's why I keep thinking that's what they're called. That looks to be, again, to me, that the shape of the legs suggests that that is what that is. The things that are most interesting to me out of all of this is actually, by the look of it, not a repulsor. That actually does look like just a transport, not a full-on tank, which I know all you Primaris players have been asking for the entirety of the Primaris line existing, and another Dreadnought. Now that's the thing that makes me interested. I don't give a shit about the rest, but that there Dreadnought, I would like that. Having said that, that's not fair. I say I don't care about the rest. That's not strictly speaking true. This, for the first time, I think is actually a lieutenant that I would like to paint. I would change the helmet. I'm still not a massive fan of the Reaver helms. You can do cool stuff with those now. My opinion has been changed somewhat in that I've seen some cool stuff done with them. I mean, Dr. Dave on Twitter has done an insanely good Legion of the Damned force, and he's used those heads, and the way that he's painted those work really, really well, but that's because they're like ghostly green. I think it works really well in that context. I would switch out that helmet for something else, probably a Forge World Night Lord's helm, because I quite like that combination, that combination of slightly more scary skull and stealthy-ish armour I quite like, but that is actually a lieutenant that I would intentionally go out and buy just to have fun painting it, just to customise it a little bit. Maybe make it a little bit more like... I'd maybe make it look a little bit more brutal looking in some ways. Perhaps give it a really nasty blade. Add a couple of chains on, just because, you know, why not? But it's actually a nice model. It's finally happened. It's finally happened. There's a Lieutenant where I'm like... Instead of just being like, it exists, I kind of actively would like it. Not as much as I want the Dreadnought in the back, or probably 3 of them, based on the current trend of me buying Dreadnoughts, but actually not a bad model. Looks kind of fancy. I would really like it, though, if you could unblur the back of the picture at Games Workshop and show us the rest. The Lieutenant was a good start. It's fine. I like him. Cool dude. The rest would be nice as well, if we could have that as soon as physically possible. Pretty please. Let me know what you think of this lad in the comments down below. Is this actually a Lieutenant you're interested in? Or is it still just another Lieutenant? I would completely understand if it was. Yeah, let me know what you think of the lad in the comments down below. Best guesses as to what the Dreadnought is. I mean, the tank looks like a transport. I think the other two are fairly simple to work out what they are, the Eliminators and the Infiltrators. And to me, that looks like some sort of Scout Dreadnought. Maybe a Drop Dreadnought. A Drop Dreadnought would be badass. It's got some sort of like thing on the front, and it's got... This is strayed way beyond what the actual video is supposed to be, but I can't help myself. I just want more Dreadnoughts. Thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click all the things, Patreon video, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. And there is, as always, an affiliate link in the description down below, through which you can buy all the 40k stuff in the world. And it's cheaper than buying it from Games Workshop directly, and I get a little something for sending you that way. So that is a thing you can do if you would like to buy stuff, which you'd buy anyway. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Toodaloo.